The monsters hit the beach, but instead of building castles in the sand, our not-so-gentle giants will play in a sea of dirt and destruction. Get set for high-flying action from the Myrtle Beach Speedway next. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the all-stars of TNT's Monster Truck Challenge. Welcome to Trucks and Tractor Power on the Nashville Network. Today we're in beautiful Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Hi everybody, I'm Gary Lee alongside Rich Hooser, and this part of the country is recognized for sand and surf and beautiful golf courses. But we're a long way from the sand and surf. We're at the Myrtle Beach Speedway.
Right, Gary, and I'll tell you what, it's not going to be a day at the beach for these guys either, because the way this track is set up, it's side-by-side monster truck racing, but the left lane has a little bit more of an obstacle. It has a 2-foot wall on each side of it, which that driver has to negotiate. Now, the right lane only has the one down the middle, so lane choice is going to be very critical for these guys tonight.
The third member of the broadcast crew is Army Armstrong. He'll be along momentarily. We'll take this break and come back to Myrtle Beach. Beach Speedway. We have 11 monster trucks here for this event. However, only 10 can compete. This is what happened earlier to the Jersey outlaw, Mike Wine. You heard Rich Hooser talk about this treacherous left lane with a wall on one side, a guardrail on the other. This was in qualifying. The Jersey outlaw having difficulty after clearing the second set of cars. He makes contact with the wall, breaking the truck, and he will not compete here this evening.
As you can see right there, Gary, he started to get off to the left-hand side too much. And as soon as he hit that wall, well, he thought, well, let me just gas a little bit and just get on over it. But he did substantial damage to the truck, and he will not be able to return. And we'll see here how he gets a little crooked there. Now, when he hits his second set, he doesn't hit him straight. That left front tire doesn't make it. When it comes down on the ground, not on the cars, that's where it all began. And he just couldn't get over to the right far enough.
And earlier, Army Armstrong talked to Mike Wine.
We understand you're not going to be able to make the first round tonight. Nothing to do with the motor. It's working good, but you're not going to be able to get a tire back on this vehicle.
You believe it or not, after all that wildest run and going over a wall, it's 3 foot tall and everything else, one tire messed me up. A 3-inch cut and a tire messed me up.
So Mike Wine becomes a spectator to join several thousand other spectators here at Myrtle Beach for first-round matchups. We have Equalizer against Clydesdale. Bigfoot will take on No Problem, the Wild Hare and Mopar Magic. Then it will be Gravedigger and Micro Machine, and King Kong and the Carolina Crusher. Well, in qualifying, our fastest truck, the Equalizer, the young driver from Tennessee, Greg Holbrook, in this S10 Chevrolet, the Equalizer. And he'll be taking on Clydesdale with Bennett Clark. There is the pink Chevrolet from Powder Springs, Georgia.
And Bennett Clark's been doing pretty good this year. He's got a new truck, a new suspension and design. Let's see if he can do away with Equalizer.
It is very close at the finish. I believe it's an upset. I believe Clydesdale won it.
Clydesdale did pick it up right at the end. Equalizer had him beat over the first set of cars. Watch here as you'll see Equalizer after that first set be ahead of Clydesdale. But he all of a sudden slows down. He didn't quite get lined up for that second set, and Clydesdale took the win.
Here's Army.
Bennett, an awful lot of people may call that an upset, but you put a new motor in there where it's sea level, you're just making a whole lot of horsepower tonight.
Yeah, we've been having a little trouble with it. We came from a different altitude. We tried the same setup we had with the last place. The motor's running great, and I'm tickled with it.
And here's a truck that will bring back some memories for Rich Hooser. This is Bigfoot 4, but now driven by John Pyatt. And here is the new driver of No Problem. This is David Morris.
Now, David used to drive Equalizer. Now, we know that he won the championship with that truck, and now he's in the No Problem. Let's see how good he does.
Bigfoot takes the victory, but No Problem has a problem as he goes over the guardrail.
He did get a little out of control. Now, David Morris said he was going to have some problems with the steering in that truck. It was something he wasn't used to, and as you can see what happened after that second set of cars, he did not have control of that vehicle. And it was a good thing that he was far enough behind Bigfoot.
So Bigfoot continues on in competition. No Problem goes back on the trailer as we look at Marvin Smith out of Arnold, Missouri, driving Wild Hare Arnold, Missouri, there near St. Louis, Rich's hometown. And here is Gary Wiggins in Mopar Magic. And Wild Hair, the third fast qualifier, takes the victory.
It was real close. Mopar Magic is running exceptionally well tonight. He did a great job keeping up with Wild Hair. Of course, he's got a new engine in Wild Hair, so that pretty much gave him the win.
So there's a good look at Marvin Smith as he drives back to the pit area. We'll see him in round 2 competition in Wild Hair. And now we take a look at one of the newer machines on the circuit. This is Micro Machine. Kurt Fisher and a crowd favorite, Dennis Anderson in the Gravedigger. Dennis Anderson, the 4th fast qualifier. And in these matchups, he will go up against the 9th fast qualifier, Micro Machine. And Micro Machine, Kurt Fisher, spinning the wheels right at the starting line, but he takes the victory over Gravedigger.
He did an excellent job with that new truck. He's been really coming on strong, and of course going against Anderson, you never know what he's going to do. And also I might mention, Gary, this is a 10-truck race. 3 of these losers will be coming back in the next quarterfinals.
That's right. The 3 fastest losers will have a chance to come back, and right now it appears that as the right side door flies open on the Gravedigger, it would appear that Gravedigger will have an excellent chance to come back in second round competition. Well, there's a problem with the Carolina Crusher. Everybody's out there working on it. Let's go down to Rich Hooser.
Okay, Gary, what's going on right now is Gary Porter is having problems getting his truck started. Now, he's on a time schedule here, and everybody's helping him. They're trying to get it started, and it just seems to be a bad battery, so we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Well, Carolina Crusher is to go up against King Kong. This will be the final matchup in round 1. But as Rich indicated, as you can see, a number of other drivers trying to help out. And there is Steve Kane. He sits alone in King Kong as the various members of this racing bunch are down there. They find the fire. The fans respond. And Gary Porter in the Carolina Crusher on his way to the starting line. He'll pull alongside King Kong, which is about a 4-year-old truck and by far the heaviest of the monster trucks here. There's a look at Steve Kane out of Killeen, Texas in King Kong. And here is Gary Porter in Carolina Crusher. He is from Wadesboro, North Carolina. He staged the Chevrolet against a Ford body with Chevrolet power. That is King Kong. And King Kong takes a big victory.
King Kong just totally outpowered Carolina Crusher. That truck, being as old as it is, sure is coming on strong, Gary. He is running exceptionally well, and he is doing a great job of driving that vehicle. He's on the ground, he's got all the power to the tires, and he just blows Carolina Crusher's doors off.
Well, once again, Rich, as you indicated earlier, with a 10-truck format, 3 losers will come back in second round competition. It would appear by the time the Carolina Crusher will be the second fast loser, and Gary Porter will return for more racing as we take a look from the cab.
Now, this is what it feels like to be driving one of these things. This is about exactly what you see. You get bounced around a lot, and some of that is pretty blurry.
That'll give you a headache. So as the sun sets over the Atlantic, Trucks and Tractor Power returns to Myrtle Beach. Stay with us. Rich Hooser, Army Armstrong, and Gary Lee back at Myrtle Beach Speedway in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Round 2 competition will find Bigfoot going against Clydesdale. The Wild Hair will take on Equalizer. We'll also have Micro Machine and Carolina Crusher, and Gravedigger against King Kong. So 3, the fast losers, are back for round 2 competition. And here's a good look at the former rodeo rider Bennett Clark in the pink Clydesdale. And his competition, Bigfoot Ford, John Pyatt out of St. Louis, Missouri. Ford against Chevrolet, and the fans are starting to cheer.
This ought to be a real close race, Gary. Clydesdale seemed to be having a little problems after that first set of cars, like his engine just died for a second. And then all of a sudden he got the power back, but it was too late to catch up to Pyatt.
So John Pyatt, Bigfoot 4 advances, and that will be the end of the evening for the pink Clydesdale and Bennett Clark. Right Right there, you can see the margin of victory, about 2.5 truck lengths, as Bigfoot number 4 heads back to the pit area. And we take a look at Marvin Smith in Wild Hair out of Arnold, Missouri. And his competition in round 2, Equalizer, the youngster from Lebanon, Tennessee, Greg Holbrook.
And Equalizer came back as the 3rd fastest loser in this round.
And there's a situation of never say die, because Greg Holbrook was in trouble in a big way off the start, but he kept the hammer down and he pulls out the victory.
He did a great job, and just to catch up with Wild Hair and just blow his doors off at the end, he did an excellent job of driving. Like you said, over that first set of cars, he got a little out of shape, but boy, he better than made up for it over that second set.
So the Equalizer advances as we take a look one more time, and look how out of shape he is. He collects it right here and takes the victory. Now, keep in mind that Marvin Smith was a faster qualifier. He had lane choice, and he stuck Holbrook in that nasty lane there between the guardrail and the wall. Coming up next, here's a look at Kurt Fisher in Micro Machine out of Jefferson City, Missouri. And his competition in the second round will be Gary Porter in Carolina Crusher. So Gary Porter, by virtue of being a fast loser, will have no lane choice this time, and he's in that bad lane. And it's all Kurt Fisher. A rough ride, though, as he bounces over the finish line, but he takes the victory, and for Porter, the evening is over.
Porter did a pretty good job, though. He wasn't intimidated at all by that wall on one side and the guardrail on the other. He kept his truck nice and straight, but he was just a little underpowered. That Micro Machine is running good, and the suspension on that truck is unbelievable.
And here's Army with Kurt.
Kurt, you come out of this thing kind of licking your wounds. What happened? Rough ride?
Yeah, I landed, I guess, on the left rear, and it just kind of, I had 2 weeks ago in Louisville, I had some damage to my arm, and I've still got it, I guess, because it's back there again.
What about the truck itself? It looks like you guys have a ride.
Well, other than the dipstick coming out and blowing a little bit of oil all over it and making a little bit of smoke and getting everybody worried, it's perfect.
Final matchup of the quarterfinals, we have Gravedigger Dennis Anderson in that 1950 Chevy panel wagon against the 4-year-old King Kong, the Ford with Chevrolet power, and this is Steve Kane. There at the starting line, and that may have cost him the victory.
Boy, he almost caught Anderson, and if that track was about another 10 feet longer, he could have beat him. But as you can see there, Dennis got just a bit of a jump on Kong, but right here, they're both side by side on the ground. Anderson hits the cars first, but look how quick Kong almost caught up to him. But Anderson beats him.
Dennis Anderson, the word we get, you take the win by 1 red headlight.
I'm glad of that. You know, we went back in the pit. I looked at his time and looked at my time, and I told my teammate there, Kim, I said, I think if I lean the motor 5 points, put a fresh set of plugs in it, we can put him out. We got the power to the ground all right, but in that run right there, I just sheared the back drive shaft in it.
So, do you have another drive shaft to get back in this thing?
Yeah, I've got another drive shaft, but I don't know if we can change it fast enough. You know, we don't have U-joints set up in it and everything like that, and the safety shields is a big deal. You know, we have to have them on it.
Well, real quick, why in the world, if he had lane choice, did he want to come to this inside lane?
I don't know. A lot of the guys, well, really as far as taking off, this lane over here is better as far as launching. I kind of like the other lane. You got a lot more room to, you know, to get squared away at the end. I don't like running down this alleyway over here.
And, of course, Dennis Anderson is a wild man in any lane he runs in. So let's hope they can get Gravedigger back for semifinal action here at Myrtle Beach. To recap this round, Bigfoot took out Clydesdale. He will meet Equalizer, who bested Wild Hair. Now, as we look at the other matchup for the semifinal round, Micro Machine defeating Carolina Crusher, and the Gravedigger, if he can get it repaired, will go up against Micro Machine after knocking out King Kong. So there is a look at John Pyatt in Bigfoot, created, built by Bob Chandler out of St. Louis, Missouri. John Pyatt tonight was the 5th fastest qualifier. He takes on Greg Holbrook in Equalizer. And Equalizer the fastest qualifier this evening, but Equalizer lost in the first round. He came back as a fast first round loser. So lane choice in this case goes to John Pyatt in Bigfoot. And Bigfoot has a problem right at the start.
Well, I'm not sure if he was snoozing at the line or if the truck hesitated and died on him, because he really just started to go just a little bit. We're going to have to watch the replay here and see what happened to John. That's just too bad that had to happen now in the semifinals.
I will take a look again. There's the green light, and there's a puff of dark smoke.
He actually did put his foot into it. He was ready to go, but the truck wasn't. And he had some problems with it earlier today with the way it was cutting out. Now, here's a good look at equalizer. This is just above the right front tire, and you can see the suspension working on that truck.
So Greg Holbrook takes the victory. He climbs out, waves to the fans, and he'll jump down to meet Army Armstrong.
Greg Holbrook, final time you're going to be there.
Yeah, I don't know what, it seemed like something happened to him on the line. I don't know if he was just wasn't paying attention or what. Just got him off the line.
What lane will you be going into?
I'm going to keep running the left.
Why the left? Everybody seems to want to be getting away from that lane except you.
Our truck just works different than everybody else's. We always, like just about every other week, we run the opposite lane than everybody else. It just works different.
Our final matchup in the semifinal round will feature Micro Machine and Gravedigger. Do they have the Gravedigger ready? Apparently so. They have realigned that rear drive shaft, and Dennis Anderson pulls up to stage that 50 panel truck. Dennis Anderson out of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, drives the very popular Gravedigger. And alongside the 1990 Chevrolet out of Jefferson City, Missouri, Kurt Fisher in Micro Machine. The battle here for the right to meet Equalizer for the championship here at Myrtle Beach. And a problem immediately, a lot of smoke from the rear of Micro Machine, and Dennis Anderson takes the victory.
Now, I'm not sure what happened to Micro Machine. He's still moving, so the vehicle is running. I think maybe he might have had some problems with the transmission, but whatever happened, it seemed like he might have missed a gear or the transmission just slipped, because the RPMs came way up and he went nowhere. So that gave Anderson a big break.
And a very popular victory here at Myrtle Beach. This is a good Carolina boy. Dennis Anderson, the 1950 Chevy panel wagon, he calls the Gravedigger. So he will be in the championship round here at Myrtle Beach against the Equalizer and Greg Holbrook. The fans are ready. Dennis Anderson waves to them. We're coming right back for the final shootout. Stay with us. Rich Hooser, Army Armstrong, and Gary Lee back at the Myrtle Beach Speedway in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Army, we're ready for the finals.
Well, when it came down to only two in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, get the lineup. The crowd was pumped up because it was a 51 Chevrolet. They call it Gravedigger. Dennis Anderson trying to put a win under his belt, but he's trying to get around the awesome Equalizer. Greg Holbrook, Dennis Anderson, final time in Myrtle Beach.
Now, one more time, let's take a look at how these two made it to the finals. Let's go back to semifinal action. And it was Gravedigger in the far lane. Now watch the trouble right at the start with Kurt Fisher and Micro Machine. So Dennis Anderson will take this victory to advance to the finals. And he will take on Equalizer. Greg Holbrook picks the inside lane. That's the lane nobody really wants, but he runs well, and he knocks out John Pyatt in Bigfoot 4. So it's Equalizer and Gravedigger in the final. There is young Greg Holbrook. He reaches out for that kill box. He will slide that into the dash. Now, he is the fast qualifier this evening. He has lane selection, and he picks that left-hand lane. He goes up against Dennis Anderson in Gravedigger. Anderson stages. He is set now. Holbrook will stage the Equalizer. That is the defending national championship truck. And this is for the championship tonight in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. A problem right at the starting line for Dennis Anderson. And young Greg Holbrook takes the victory. Dennis Anderson was like the bride that was left at the altar.
Well, I'm not sure if the problem was something to do with the drive shaft that he fixed earlier, or if this is a new problem altogether, Gary. I'm going to try to get over to him to see what happens. But watch here at the starting line. He takes off, and then it just locks up. So something broke, and it just caused the vehicle to lock up, and he is stuck where it stands.
Well, you run over and see if you can catch up with Dennis Anderson as we take a look at the finish of that run. And there is the victory salute from Greg Holbrook as he salutes this capacity crowd here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. He takes the victory tonight. But let's go down to Rich now and Dennis Anderson.
Dennis just fell flat on his face at the line. What happened?
Well, Rich, you know, you kind of get uptight when you get in the finals, and I was going to put the old girl on the wood, you know, and that light turned green, and I just matted it. And these big tires and this heavy truck just don't work with that big blower motor, and it stripped the transfer case out of it.
So earlier tonight, he had the problem with the drive shaft. Then it was the transfer case in the championship round. And there is your winner signing autographs. So our congratulations to Greg Holbrook. For Army Armstrong and Rich Hooser, I'm Gary Lee. Thanks for joining us. So long from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Here's news about an exciting new video release from Diamond P Sports. It's time to shake, battle, and roll. Call 1-800-453-2800 for 70 minutes of awesome air-grabbing rooster tail spring action from the worlds of monster truck racing, truck and tractor pulling, and mud bogging. Relive the great moments of thrilling side-by-side monster truck racing. Feel the ground shake from the raw power of truck and tractor pulling. And get down and dirty as the best mud racers battle the slime for the fastest time. All this incredible action on one video cassette just by calling 1-800-453-2800. That's 1-800-453-2800. Strap up for a ride on the wild side. It's time to shake, battle, and roll.
In other news today, the State Department has fired Felix Bloch. He's the diplomat who was suspected of being a spy